My 7-year-old nephew smirked and said, "You can't sit with us. Mom said you're a joke." Everyone laughed, even my son. Two quietly stood up and left. That night, my sister texted, "Payment's still due tomorrow." I replied, "Figure it out." Next morning, complete panic. I'm going to start with the moment the heir left the room. "Hey, Uncle Jack," my nephew sing-songed, cheeks sticky with store-bought frosting. "You can't sit with us. Mom said you're a joke." He was 7. He said it the way kids try out grown-up words to see how they fit. The adults did that tight little laugh people do when they know something's wrong, but they like that it's wrong. My sister looked down at her phone. My mother pinched her paper napkin into a bow. My brother lifted his beer and didn't lift his eyes. And my son, my own 8-year-old, glanced around, unsure, then giggled because everyone else did. I didn't correct the kid. I didn't throw the plate. I didn't ask who taught him that sentence. I stood there with a tray of sliders I'd seared on my cast iron, brioche buns, onion jam I'd started at 5 a.m., 2 sauces and squeeze bottles labeled in tape, like a line cook, and I felt the kind of quiet that crawls into your bones and makes a home. My name is Jackson. I'm 38. I'm a chef, executive chef at a hotel restaurant that locals love and tourists try to gatekeep. I'm the background one in my family, the fixer, the person they call when the sink leaks or the head count doubles last minute. 2 facts. I sleep in 4-hour stretches like service never ends, and I keep receipts in a neat red folder with a rubber band around it, because kitchens teach you to document everything in heat-proof ink. The party was at my mother's house. Balloons. Overcooked sausage rolls. The kind of sheet cake where the frosting dye stains your tongue blue for 3 hours. I'd brought the good food because that's my job in this story. Make things better. Make things edible. "Jackson, don't sulk," my sister said without looking up. It was a joke. My son's face went small and tight. "Dad, you can sit with me," he whispered. "Thanks, bud," I said. I kept my voice light. "I'm good." I put the tray on the buffet next to the crock pot of suspicious dip, wiped my hands on my apron, and stepped out back. The porch smelled like citronella and denial. I stared at the line of string lights I'd hung last Christmas when it was too cold for ladders, and I thought, I don't have to stay where I'm not welcome. Inside, someone yelled, "Who took the good buns already?" Laughter, the kind that rides on someone else's dignity. A cousin brushed past me with a paper plate. "Chef Boyardee," he grinned. "Save me one of your famous burgers." "Sliders," I said automatically, because names matter. Then I stopped correcting him because some things don't. When it was time to leave, my mother hugged my son and patted my shoulder like I was a waiter dropping the check. My sister handed me a foil pan to take home the leftovers I'd purchased. I carried the tray to my car. My phone buzzed on the dash as I buckled my kid in. "Mom, thanks for handling the food." "Sister, payment's still due tomorrow?" I stared at the message bubbles. All caps lived in my throat, but all that came out was a single line. "Me, figure it out." I put the car in drive. My son, small voice from the back, "Dad, are you mad at me?" "No, buddy," I said. "I'm just done being the joke. Here's the thing. I've been the invisible man holding up the stage set for a long time. That night wasn't the first wound. It was just the first one I didn't cover with a towel. And I didn't freeze anyone's accounts. I didn't call a lawyer from the driveway. I went home, washed a mountain of sheet pans, peeled a thumb of ginger without thinking, and tried to sleep. The next morning, before the sun hit the alley behind my building, the panic began. Let me back up. I grew up in a house where praise had a favorite seat. My sister, Elise, had it. She was the golden one. Organized, mother of 2, always so busy, but somehow always available to collect what was owed. My brother, Nate, was the charming storm you learned to board up for. I was the one who didn't need much, the one who understood the situation, the one you could depend on. It started small, the way Russ starts. A decade ago, when Dad got sick, I moved back to town for a bit and took the night shift at a bistro, then grabbed a second shift at a diner because the mortgage on Mom's house loomed like a thunderhead. I was 28 and hungry for the line, the burn, the tickets clipping in a rhythm that sounds like meaning. I fronted little things without keeping score because love isn't a ledger until it has to be. Examples? Okay, when Elise's minivan died, I paid the tow, the alternator, and the 2 new tires because the kids had soccer. When Nate needed a little boost to cover a security deposit after he bailed on a roommate mid-lease, I wired it at 1 a.m. between plating hanger steaks and answering the expo. When Mom's roof started crying into the guest room, I found a roofer who wouldn't scam her, stayed home from brunch service to meet him, and put the entire deposit on my card because your credit is better. That was my mistake. I kept being proud it was. And the house. The house is the spine of this story. 5 years ago, the mortgage was a slow-moving crisis. Dad gone, paperwork a mess, interest rate ugly. The balance hovered around $330,000. Our options were sell the house that held every birthday photo, every height mark on the pantry door, or refinance and keep the home in the family. Mom cried. Elise said, Jackson, you're the only one who understands these things. Nate said, I can't right now, which is his whole personality in 4 words. I ran the numbers at the prep table after close, fingers still smelling like shallots. It was tight, but doable. I had good income by then. Executive Sue about to step up to chef. I could leverage my credit, lock a fixed rate, then we'd split. The plan, I co-signed to save the house. We all pay our thirds, and, this matters, we all remain on the deed until the mortgage is done. Family, responsibility, boundaries in ink. I met with the loan officer twice. I read every page. I highlighted. I tagged with neon flags like a man who knows kitchens run on Ms. In place and documentation. There was a clause I underlined 3 times. For point 7, title/ownership covenant. Removal or alteration of any borrower's equitable or legal interest in the property during the term of this note requires the written consent of all obligated parties. I took a picture of it. I emailed it to the family thread. I saved it in the red folder. For 5 years, I paid on time. When Elise forgot her third, I covered to avoid late fees. When Nate was between gigs, I covered again. My bank app shows the transfers like a heart monitor. Steady, steady, spiking, steady. I cooked double shifts to make it work. I skipped vacations. I said no to a pop-up concept I wanted because we can talk about that when things are stable. What did they do? They did family. They did holidays where the person who brings the food is not the person who gets thanked. They did the kind of casual erasure that looks like we were just joking, like you're the strong one, like we'll make it up to you. Then last fall, I was chopping fennel when Mom called. Jackson, she said, voice too bright. Quick question about homeowners insurance. Elise said we needed to update the policy since the deed changed. The what changed? Oh, don't get dramatic, she huffed. We updated the deed. It's simpler this way, less paperwork for the will. Elise has the kids. She and Tom will keep the house after me. It's all still family. Knife down. Timer off. Who signed what? Don't use that voice, she snapped. Elise handled it. She's good with forms. I hung up, went to the alley, and called the county recorder. Then I sat on a milk crate between the walk-in and the delivery door and listened to a stranger confirm my name was no longer on the deed. 2 months earlier, Elise and Mom had executed a quitclaim that removed me and transferred ownership to Elise and her husband for estate simplicity. No call, no consent, no clause 4.7 acknowledgement. They didn't remove me from the loan, though. The mortgage still drafted from my account on the 1st. In kitchens, you learn to stay calm when the fryer explodes. I stayed calm. I opened a new folder on my phone. House, documentation. I took screenshots of every payment since refinance. I downloaded the original deed, the refinance note, the clause 4.7 photo. I pulled the property tax records, the insurance policy, the quitclaim. I printed texts. Can you cover this month? Promise we'll settle up. I highlighted dates. I made a timeline. I wasn't planning revenge. I was building clarity. Then came the party with the nephew's line. The joke. The laugh. The tray of sliders. And the text. Payment still due tomorrow? I slept badly. At 6:12 a.m., while I was portioning Burr Monty for the fish station, my phone lit up so bright I thought someone had turned a lamp on under it. Elise. Wait. What do you mean figure it out? Elise, hello? Mom. Jackson, we need to talk. Nate. Dude, answer your phone. Elise, are you kidding me? The bank drafts today. Here's the thing they didn't understand. I wasn't turning off love. I was turning off the faucet they'd welded to my name without asking. I chose the setting carefully. Sunday lunch at the restaurant on a slow hour, the dining room quiet, sunlight pooling on the banquettes. No music, no audience of cousins, no laugh track. They showed up together, Mom tight-lipped, Elise in leadership mode, Nate late with sunglasses on his head like another bad idea. I had water on the table already. I stayed standing for a minute so I wouldn't sit in old habits. Elise started. This is childish, she said, dropping her purse like a gavel. Your little figure-it-out stunt? Do you understand what kind of position you put me in with the mortgage company? They tried to draft and couldn't, I said. And couldn't, she blazed on. Because you changed the account info? Without telling us. I didn't change anything, I said. I accessed my own bank and removed auto pay for a debt I've single-handedly carried when you forgot. Mom leaned forward. We are family. You don't. I slid the red folder across the table. We are, I said. So here's the family thing. We read together. Nate snorted. Oh my God. I ignored him. I opened to the refinance packet and tapped the highlighted section. Clause 4.7. The one I emailed on May 3rd, 2020 at 8:27 p.m. The one that says you can't change the ownership without written consent of all obligated parties. Elise's lip curled. We didn't change anything important. It's still in the family. Important to who? I asked. You transferred the legal ownership to yourself and your husband. You kept me on the note so the bank would keep drafting my account. You changed the locks on obligation and called it estate simplicity. Mom's voice went small. Honey, you're single. Elise has children. This makes sense on paper. It sure does, I said evenly, sliding out the county recorder printout. Recorded in August. 2 months before I paid the October escrow shortage you told me was a weird glitch. It wasn't. It was the tax increase because of your transfer. Elise's phone buzzed. She didn't look at it. She looked at me. So what is this, Jackson? A shakedown. I stared at her for a beat. No. This is me saying no. I will not pay for an asset I don't own. Nate finally looked up. So you're just going to let Mom be homeless? No one is being thrown anywhere, I said. I spoke with the loan servicer yesterday. There are 3 options that don't involve me lighting money on fire. I held up 3 fingers. 1, you refinance in your name only, Elise, if your income can carry it. 2, you sell. 3, we reverse the quitclaim, restore my interest, and we formalize contributions in writing with escrow controlled by a third party, so I'm not the only grown-up in the room. Reverse the quitclaim? Elise laughed. We already did it. I slid my phone across the table. On the screen, a clean PDF labeled quitclaim, recorded August 14th. I swiped to the next photo. My email to the loan officer with the clause cited and a request for guidance. The next, a reply confirming that the title alteration without my consent is a breach under 4.7 and any further drafts can be paused pending resolution. The next, a screenshot of 5 years of transfers from my account totaling $186,423.17. Highlighted. Here's the thing, I said quietly. I'm not dramatic. I'm not vengeful. I'm tired. And I'm done. Mom's eyes were wet now. Jackson, she whispered. We didn't mean. I know, I said, and I did. They never mean it. Meaning isn't the point. Outcomes are. This isn't about revenge. This is about closure. Silence. Even the kitchen went still for a second, like service had paused to listen. Elise swallowed. You can't do this. The draft bounced this morning. The bank called me. The late fee is a natural consequence, I said. Not a punishment. There is a path. Pick one. Nate leaned back, grinning the way people grin at a car crash. You think you're the hero here. No, I said. I think I'm the accountant. Mom reached for my hand. I didn't move mine away, but I didn't turn it either. Please, she said. Don't do anything rash. I'm not, I said. I'm doing exactly what the paperwork says. I stood. I'll give you the week. On Friday at noon, I meet with the notary. If the deed isn't corrected or the refinance isn't underway, I'll send a formal notice through counsel to the servicer and to the county, citing Clause 4.7 and reserving all rights to seek reimbursement for 5 years of payments. And I'll put this all in writing so no one can pretend they didn't hear it. Elise's phone started exploding on the table. Buzz, 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 like it sensed its role in the panic to come. Mom dabbed her eyes. Nate muttered something about power trips. I nodded once and walked toward the kitchen. As I pushed through the door, my phone buzzed in my pocket. A text from Elise, all caps. You're ruining US. I set my phone face down on the expo and called. 2 salmon, 2 steak, fire on table 12. The line kicked back into motion. And on the other side of the door, the calls began, rapid, relentless, a storm gathering over a house that finally met the weather it had been pretending wasn't there. By Monday afternoon, my call log looked like a heartbeat in distress. 42 missed calls from Elise, 19 from Mom, 7 from Nate, 12 from an unknown number that turned out to be my aunt, who opened with, I don't know what you think you're doing, but think of the children. I set a boundary on my voicemail. I will not discuss the mortgage by phone. Please email. I created a new email filter, family, house. I forwarded everything to my attorney, who I hired with a single sentence. I need this to be boring and legal. He wrote letters with notary stamps and paragraph numbers. He cited clause 4.7 the way I'd practiced in my head. Elise texted paragraphs. You're selfish. This is just money to you. We took you off the deed because you're single. It's practical. I can't refinance. Tom's hours were cut. Selling will destroy MOM. Are you happy? I responded once. Put all proposals in writing by Thursday. I will review with counsel. Mom left voicemails that sounded like someone trying to talk through a hurricane. Honey, please, call me back. This is getting out of hand. Your sister is beside herself. Do you want us to be out on the street? This isn't you. I listen late at night with the lights off and the hood fan still roaring in my ears from service. I didn't call back. I sent an email. I love you. We need to follow the documents. Word spread. Cousins I hadn't seen in years became experts. You're ruining the family, one wrote. Another. I heard you're evicting your own mother. I wasn't. An uncle. A man provides. I replied to none of them. I was done auditioning for roles I never wanted. Meanwhile, I slept. Not immediately, not perfectly, but better than I had in years. I woke up and ran 3 miles for the first time since I'd swapped cardio for caffeine. I rearranged my pantry at home like a station you would actually want to work. Spices labeled, oils dated, bins purged of the stale and the sentimental. I bought myself a new chef's jacket, white and crisp, no name on it, because I've been giving my name away too often. On Wednesday, Elise sent a solution scribbled as a note in her phone. I continue paying for a few months. She and Tom look into options. We don't involve lawyers, and no more drama. It read like a hostage list with no hostage. My attorney drafted a reply. Option 3. Restore title to original parties. Execute a memorandum of understanding contributions. Establish an escrow account managed by a third party. Any missed contributions trigger an automatic sale with proceeds split proportionate to paid principal. Deadline Friday noon. Nate finally tried sincerity. He showed up at the restaurant back door during prep and held out 2 coffees like a peace offering. Man, he said, this is getting out of hand. I wiped my hands. You're 3 years late. He bristled. You think I didn't want to help? I was. Between gigs, I said. I know. You can't punish everyone for being human, he said. I'm not, I said. I'm refusing to be punished for it. He stared at me. You really changed. No, I said. I stopped pretending. Thursday night. Mom sent a photo of a cardboard box labeled Kitchen Mom. I breathed through the lurch in my chest. I called my attorney. She's packing, I said. He sighed. They're staging panic. Hold the line. Friday at 11:52 a.m., 8 minutes before the deadline, I received a PDF, corrective quitclaim deed, restoring the original parties. It included a draft of the memorandum with escrow terms, drafted by my attorney and signed, finally, by Elise and Tom and Mom. It wasn't an apology. It was better. It was accountability. At 12:03, my phone rang. Mom. I answered. Hi. A sob. You're really going to make your sister pay? No, I said softly. The bank is. I'm just not doing it alone anymore. She exhaled a long, jagged sound. I don't like this. I know, I said. Neither do I. That afternoon, the loan servicer acknowledged receipt of the title correction and the escrow agreement. Auto pay remained off. The first payment under the new arrangement hit the new escrow on the 1st. 1/3 Elise's funds, 1/3 mine, 1/3 Mom's small, but real contribution from the Social Security account we reorganized with a financial counselor. My red folder got a new tab. Executed. The calls didn't stop. They changed flavor. You embarrassed us, Elise texted. Everyone knows. I typed, then deleted, then typed again. I didn't tell anyone anything. The facts did. Aunt, so dramatic. Me. The paperwork is boring. Read it. Cousin. Think of the kids. Me. I am. I'm modeling boundaries. At home, quiet settled. My son noticed first. You're not on your phone all the time, he said one evening while we stirred risotto, his favorite because it takes patience. I'm learning to be off call, I said. He grinned. Like when your timer goes off and you don't pretend it didn't. We ate at the table, just the 2 of us, no jokes at our expense. He told me about a science project. I told him how to tell when rice releases starch. We laughed at a dumb pun about time. It felt like the opposite of panic. A month later, the house was still the house. The porch light that flickers. The pantry door with the uneven pencil marks where we all grew. But the ledger had changed. We signed the escrow agreement in front of a notary who double-checked IDs like the universe finally was. The county updated the title. Clause April 7th Saturday where it always sat, smug and simple, like a recipe you ignored because you thought you knew better. Payments came from 3 places, not one. One missed by a lease in month, two triggered an automatic email from the escrow manager, not a frantic plea to me. She covered it the next day and didn't add a smiley face. My phone. Quieter. The family group chat hummed about school plays and cousin baby showers, the way families do when they're pretending they aren't different now. I kept my responses neutral. I sent photos of my son's science fair volcano. I didn't volunteer to cater the next event. When someone made a joke that ran too close to bone, I didn't swallow it. I wrote, "Not funny. Please stop." And then I put my phone down and sliced cucumbers for a salad we'd actually eat. I saw my nephew. Yes, that nephew, at a Sunday visit. He shuffled, avoiding my eyes. "Mom said I should say sorry," he mumbled. "I didn't mean it." "I know," I said. "But words matter. So do seats." He looked up. "Can you sit with me now?" "Yeah," I said, and I did. We played Uno with my son, and when he lost, he didn't cry. When he won, he didn't gloat. Progress, even with 7-year-olds, looks like small chairs pulled a little closer. 2 months after the panic, I stood in my kitchen at home, holding a spare key to the house I'd saved and nearly surrendered. I didn't drive over. I didn't put it on my chain. I put it in the red folder under a new tab, Boundaries. Not to wave in anyone's face. To remind myself that paper can be a fence and a bridge at the same time. Here's what changed. I stopped paying for the privilege of being invisible. I learned that you don't have to be the family wallet to be the family. You can love people and still refuse to subsidize their disrespect. You can say no, calmly, precisely, and let the paperwork say the rest. This isn't about revenge. This is about closure, I told them that day. It still is. Closure wasn't a slam of a door. It was a signature under a paragraph we all agreed to and finally obeyed. I'm Jackson. I'm a chef. I cut onions fast and clean now, and I cut expectations the same way. I don't sit where I'm told I don't belong. I pull up my own chair, set my own plate, and leave empty seats for anyone willing to meet me at the table where jokes don't cost a person their place. The last text I didn't answer sits starred in my phone, a relic I keep to remind myself of the old script. "Elise, can you just cover this one time?" Me. Unsent. Instead, I turned off my screen, checked the risotto, tasted for salt, and taught my son the only recipe I wish I'd learned sooner. Boundaries, stirred slowly, finished with a little butter and a lot of patience.